Hello, guys. Welcome here to this week's edition of Tinkle Sports Talk. You may notice kind of by myself today. Jason is currently in Florida on vacation, and I'm just here holding down the fort, much like Marty did for No Final Bell this week. Jason will be back next week, and of course, next week we will celebrate our 1 year anniversary that actually happened. That it's actually happening this Monday. But we will have a special show next week, and we will probably talk about our time and whatnot doing the show. So you might want to tune in. Just thought I'd throw that out there. It's probably so I'm going to let you know now. It's going to be a condensed show. There's going to be no tinkle on this week. We're just going to stick to the basics. I'll have my Tinkle Rundown. Of course, we'll also talk NFL news, make our Week 18 picks, and I will also make my college football national championship pick. And then, of course, I want to talk a little bit about a show returning to Tinkle Sports and Entertainment in the near future. But first, let's start off with my Tinkle Rundown. And I started off this week by talking about Week 18, of course. It all comes down to this: the Chargers and the Raiders. Sunday Night Football, the final spot in the AFC. Now, of course, the Steelers could get in, but it's a lot more complex for them and the Ravens to get in. So basically, Sunday night is going to be a win and you're in, unless the Colts lose to the Jags, which is possible. The Colts have not won in Jacksonville the last 4 times they've gone. But of course, that would also require a tie by the Chargers and the Raiders. Again, something highly, highly unlikely, but not out of the equation. Of course, I will have my pick for that game very, very shortly. I don't want to give too much away. So, just wanted to throw that out there. Of course, the Raiders, I think, have been in the media the most out of any team this year. They've been marred in so much controversy, of course, with John Gruden, Henry Ruggs, and then recently, of course, the John Madden story passing away. And I believe another former first-round pick got in some legal trouble this year, too. So the Raiders have been in the news a little too much of late. The Chargers, of course, have not been consistent. And that's very, very much an understatement. Of course, the Texans have been, the Texans beat us pretty good. To be honest, I'm shocked that the Chargers even beat Denver as bad as they beat them. But if they play like this team on Sunday night, they're going to blow the Raiders out of the water. And like I said on a previous show, I firmly believe, and I stick by this belief, if we beat the Raiders on Sunday Night Football and advance to the playoffs. Now, of course, keep in mind, Tennessee wins, they clinch the number 1 seed, which is what I believe will likely happen, but I'll get into the details, of course, of that when I make my picks. Kansas City, of course, will likely be our opponent if we stay in the 7 seed, which is what I'm hoping for. Because personally, I believe this Chargers team will beat Kansas City in the playoffs. I'm just telling you right now, I firmly believe it, and I'm not backing off that stance, regardless of if we play the Raiders tight or not. I could tell you right now that if the Raiders win and they play Kansas City in the first round, they're getting wiped. Plain and simple. Gus Bradley can't coach for the life of him against Patrick Mahomes, and that defense straight up just got assaulted the last 2 times that they played Kansas City. So, of course, we're going to shift gears now to my second point on this Tinkle Rundown. NASCAR is beginning to crack down on politically based sponsorships. Of course, via Adam Stern from the Sports Business Journal, what has been in the news of late is the sponsorship of Brandon Brown. Of course, you may remember Brandon Brown. He won at Talladega right before darkness ensued on the track in October. Fans began to chant, "Fuck Joe Biden," and of course the NBC sports reporter translated it as "Let's Go Brandon," which Brandon Brown has said has kind of put a damper on his chances of getting sponsorship. Now, of course, Let's Go Brandon coin. It is a meme coin. You know, these virtual currencies I'm not huge on. I know not much about them, and frankly, not buying into it too much. But they had stepped up and actually offered full season sponsorship to Brandon Brown and Brandon Built Motorsports. NASCAR initially approved the sponsorship, and then of course they have now rescinded it, leading to a lawsuit from LGB Coin, which stands for Let's Go Brandon. And to be honest, you know, this one's a tough one to weigh in on. What I will say is that NASCAR is doing the right thing by not allowing political sponsorship on cars, let alone on tracks. And, you know, to the crowd that, you know, look, let's face it, a lot of the crowds at football games, at baseball games, all the primary sports in North America, they have all been complaining for years. The Facebook people, the Twitter people, they have all been complaining for years. We want to see political sponsorship get removed. We don't want any politics when we go to a sporting event. And to be fair, you don't see Trump 2020 stickers on jerseys. You don't see them on helmets in any other sport. You don't see Biden stickers on jerseys or helmets. Okay, why was this acceptable in NASCAR for so long is beyond me. And I'm not saying that, you know, one party should not be allowed. I'm saying both parties shouldn't be allowed to sponsor anybody in any sport. Okay, plain and simple. No sponsor, you know, Trump 2020, Biden 2020. I don't care what your affiliation is. Joe Rogan, for God's sakes. I don't care if it's him. You should not be allowed to sponsor a race car, and you should have no ties to sponsorship, of course. If you want to own a race team, that's one thing. But you cannot buy sponsorship on a car. I'm sorry. Okay? And I'm sorry. If you have a problem with it, then you're a hypocrite. If you're the ones complaining about politics being tied into sports, you're a hypocrite. If you are against this. Now, I mean, the Let's Go Brandon coin thing is a little bit stingy. I'll admit, something don't seem right here. Of course, we'll see what happens when this lawsuit comes out. And I do feel for Brandon Brown. He kind of got the unfair treatment from all of this. So I certainly hope this matter gets resolved. Hopefully he will find sponsorship, even if it's not LGB coin. You know, hopefully someone will step up and give him a full season sponsorship so that way he can continue. In other news, now my Tinkle Rundown this week is mostly news headlines. Of course, we don't like to tie into politics. I just want to say before I go into my third point, I don't normally like to tie into politics, but I figured, you know, this was a good point to make that, you know, if we don't see political sponsorship, we don't see Trump 2020 or Biden 2020 banners flying at football games, on the monitors or anywhere for that matter. So why is this acceptable in NASCAR, or why it was so acceptable for so long, beyond me. So that's all I'm going to say in terms of that. Shifting gears though, the other big story this week, online sports betting is now legal in New York State as of today. You must be present in the state of New York, though. Again, this is online sports betting. I believe, I can't even tell you how many ads I've seen for Caesar Sportsbook, DraftKings. I forget the other one, but, FanDuel. But mostly Caesar Sportsbook. I've seen every other ad here in Rochester, New York is that. Personally, I'm not a gambler, but I'm glad to see sports betting finally make its way to New York. Of course, it's legal in other states. you know, and honestly, just glad to see it. I just figured that was a nice story to let you guys, to inform you guys about what's going on, of course. So that is our Tinkle Rundown for today. We are now on to the NFL news, and of course, Antonio Brown stormed off the field. If you watched it on Sunday, bizarre twist of events here. Antonio Brown ripped his jersey off, ran through the end zone as the teams were starting to run a play. And then, of course, he was spotted outside the MetLife Stadium waiting for an Uber by a Snapchat user. And then just on Thursday, he was released by the organization. Of course, Antonio Brown, the rumors were, or at least from the Bucs side, they said that he was frustrated by the amount of targets that he received. And then on Antonio Brown's side, he's saying he had an injury and didn't feel like going. Now, we all know Antonio Brown has a bad history in the NFL of having a temper. We know he's had a history of, mental health issues. I just hope that he gets the help he needs. And that's all I'm going to really say about that. I hope Antonio Brown will finally get the help he needs, and I think even Tom Brady wants to see it at this point. He needs to, I know we can't discover CTE in a live human brain yet. But I think he should really start seeing a neurologist, maybe about that. It might be CTE related, but it could also just be mental health. I'm hoping at the very least, if he doesn't go see a neurologist to see what's going on, maybe it is, symptoms from past concussions. But if not that, I sure hope that he will go get some mental health counseling so that way, he can really figure out what the true issue is and, hopefully come back and figure out ways to cope with it. So that's just my thoughts on that. Anyway, we're almost 13 minutes in. I think it's a good time to take an anchor break. When we come back, we will have our NFL Week 18 picks as well as our college football national championship pick. So you won't want to go away. Stay tuned. Tinkle Sports Talk continues in just under a minute. Here we go. The saddest time of the year. Of course, it is the final week of regular season. Hey, you know what though? I will say be grateful because frankly, we got an extra week in the regular season. It was so great to see, and of course this season has just been insane. We'll talk about that though when Jason comes back, hopefully next Sunday. Let's kick it off though with our picks. Of course, ESPN and ABC have a doubleheader on Saturday. It kicks off with the Chiefs and the Broncos. The Chiefs are an 11.5 favorite. I don't even think I have to explain why I'm picking the Chiefs, but I'm going to go Kansas City here. Keep in mind, Kansas City needs to win or hope that, they need to win and hope Tennessee loses in order to clinch the first round bye. Of course, regardless, if Tennessee wins, they clinch the first seed. Cowboys and Eagles. Cowboys a 5-point favorite. Personally, I've seen the Cowboys steamroll the entire NFC East this year, at least the Giants and the football team. By the way, the Washington football team going to be coming out with a new name very soon. It's going to be interesting. I heard Admirals is probably going to be the name, but anyway, back on topic here. I'm going to pick the Cowboys. I like the Eagles' plan of attack lately, but they really haven't beaten anybody meaningful yet this year. To beat the Cowboys would be a huge test for this team, especially entering the first round of the playoffs, because I'm going to be honest, and it's probably the general consensus here, I think the Eagles are going to be a one and done. I think they're the weakest team in the playoffs right now, but again, this is a prove-it game for them tonight. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, Bengals and Browns kick off Sunday. Cleveland a 6-point favorite. Joe Burrow is not playing. I still like the Bengals, though. I think the Bengals have too many weapons to lose that game. It's really theirs to lose. But for the Browns, this is kind of a must-win. I think this is going to be crucial as, of course, the team is evaluating what to do with Baker at the end of the year. Green Bay, Detroit, I imagine Jordan Love will probably play most of, if not the entire game. Green Bay's a 3.5 favorite. I do like that edge, but I'm telling you, the Lions have kind of come to life here in the second half of the season. I wouldn't even rule out an upset at this point in time. Bears and Vikings, probably the last game Mike Zimmer and Matt Nagy will ever coach for those teams. Minnesota, a 5.5-point favorite. I like Minnesota in this one, so I'm just going to lean toward them. The Washington, potentially Admirals, against the New York Giants. Of course, the other big story this week for the Giants and the Jets, they were both sued for $6 billion because of their name. And actually, I should have included that in my Tinkle Rundown. Washington's a 7-point favorite. I'm not going to disagree there. The Giants have been a dumpster fire the last few weeks. Colts and Jaguars, Indy almost a 16-point favorite. I'm not even going to debate this one. I think that losing streak in Jacksonville ends for Indianapolis, and they will pull off the victory against the struggling Jaguars. Steelers, Ravens, Baltimore, a 5-point favorite. I like Baltimore here, honestly. They've been struggling, but it seems like, this is a game that they should very well win. I just don't think the Steelers are that good. And, of course, this is going to be the last game Big Ben ever plays, in all likelihood. So, big farewell tour as they play Baltimore this weekend. Titans and Texans, the game that could determine the number 1 seed. Tennessee, a 10-point favorite. I'm not even going to tell you why. I'm picking the Titans here. Saints, Falcons. Saints, a 3.5-point favorite. I wouldn't rule out a Atlanta Falcons upset. I'm just going to be honest. I wouldn't rule it out. But I'm going to lean toward the Saints here. I just think they got a lot to lose, though. Of course, I think they need a San Fran loss to even get in. Jets, Bills. I'm going Bills. They're 16-point favorite on the nose. 49ers and Rams. The Rams a 4.5-point favorite. I'm going to go with the Rams here. I would not be shocked, though, to see the 49ers drop out of the playoffs after this game. Patriots, Dolphins, New England, a 6.5-point favorite. Jason will be at that game on Sunday. I'm going to pick the Patriots to win that one. I think they end their kind of rough slide in Miami. So, that's my prediction there. Seahawks, Cardinals, Arizona, a 6.5-point favorite. The Cardinals have not been good at home this year. Believe it or not, they are 3-4 at home this year. So, honestly, I'm going to go with the upset. I think Seattle wins this game. Yes, I think Seattle. Hard to believe that. I'd pick them. Anyway, here we go. Panthers and Buccaneers. Buccaneers an 8-point favorite. I'm not even going to explain it. Buccaneers win this game. Chargers, Raiders. Chargers a 3-point favorite. Oh boy. This may be the toughest game to predict all weekend. But if everyone's healthy, if everyone's ready to go, I'd like the Chargers over the Raiders. But again, the Raiders have a lot that have happened this year. They've got a big-time chip on their shoulder. So I wouldn't rule out even a Raiders surprise victory. All right, that's it for Week 18 NFL predictions. We are now on to the college football playoff. The national championship is on Monday night, 8 p.m. ESPN. It's an SEC matchup, Georgia and Alabama. The University of Georgia, a 2.5-point favorite. I believe they beat Alabama earlier in the year. I like Alabama in this game. And to be honest, I think Alabama's going to win big. I really believe they're going to win big. So, that's my picks for this week. Man, what a short show. I want to thank you all for watching. Anyway, before we go, I want to announce a programming note. Oh, sorry. Let me point down to that corner. You notice it says out of turn 4. Normally, of course, we like to advertise no final bell. And, of course, we do hope you watch. Of course, trying to get their schedule organized right now. But out of turn 4 will be returning on February 1st to cover the Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum. So tune in Tuesday, February 1st. The new season will kick off at 5 p.m. Eastern. It'll be every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And this season, all new this season, Out of Turn 4 will be not just on YouTube, it will also be on Facebook Watch all season long. So tune in on both platforms. We hope to see you there. We want to thank you for watching. I apologize for my takeaways being a little bit on the political side this week. I figured the NASCAR point was very important to make. And then, of course, I figured it was a good bit of information considering we have a lot of people, or we have quite a few people from New York that actually do listen. So I figured it would be good for our New York listeners and viewers if they got to see that news about online sports betting, of course. So again, we want to be as informational as possible, not just our opinions here at TSC. But again, tune in Tuesday, February 1st, 5 p.m. Eastern. New season of Out of Turn 4 will kick off. It's going to be a fun season to cover. NASCAR Next Gen. That's going to be interesting all around. IndyCar, a lot of rides shuffled around. We'll, of course, cover a lot of the off-season news, of course. So you will want to tune in on Tuesday, February 1st. But thank you guys so much for watching. I apologize for this being a short show and kind of a unique show, I guess is the way to put it. We hope you will tune in next Sunday. Jason will be back with me. And of course, again, we will be celebrating our 1-year anniversary. So you won't want to miss it. Thanks again. Follow us on social media. And we will see you next Sunday. Or actually, we'll see you Saturday for Tinkle NFL Saturday. And then we'll see you on Sunday for the main show across all networks. Until then, guys, goodbye, everyone.